Members say we love the alcohol, la 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 la. Just line 'em up and we will drink them all, la 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 la. But my mother always said, if you want to drink all day, you best start in the morning, son, 'cause that's the Irish way. We don't get drunk, we get awesome, and every other mother will agree. We don't get drunk, we get awesome, so order up around for you and me. We don't get drunk, we get awesome, and every mother must agree. We don't get drunk, we get awesome, so order up around for you and me, and you and me, and you and me. Let there be whiskey.
Hey, everybody! Welcome to Nerds with Alcohol. I'm Chris,
I'm Russ.
and this is episode 300.
Holy shit. Episode 300. Guys, welcome back into the virtual nerd basement. Who'd have thunk it we'd make it all the way to 300?
Yeah.
I figured one or the two of us would get sick of each other at this point, but it hasn't happened yet. You
Yeah.
guys are still tuning in, so that's
2 weeks ago was our 6th year, and now we're at 300. So
yes. This is also my triumphant return to the show. I have been off for the last 3 shows?
4.
Four?
I think.
God damn. I think
Been
it
a
was at
long
least
time,
3.
dude.
I was just completely swamped at work. We had too much going on, and I just could not get away. And
Oh, thank you, CD.
it's nice to be back.
CD just gave us 300 cheers. 300 bits in a
Thanks,
cheer. Thank you
Duder.
very much.
Appreciate it,
And
man.
thank you guys for the happy 300s. Hi, CD.
Yeah.
Hi, Wings Kook.
Yeah, Renee, nice to see you. And we know that we don't always get a ton of people here in the live chat, but we do still get a decent amount. What?
Then that's 15 months for CD subscribing.
Hey, great, thanks, man, very much. We do still get quite a few downloads and people listening to after the fact, so we really do appreciate everybody. We appreciate everybody that comes on board and however you listen to us. We really love you guys and really appreciate it. So thank you again.
Yep. Hey, Auntie Dawn, glad to see you.
Hey, Eddie Dawn. Hey, how you feeling? Hope you did. Hope everything's going well. I remember that you had to have some surgery or something for a while back, and hope everything's going well. Holy shit, man.
Yeah, dude, 6 years ago. We've come a long ways. I mean, granted, we're not doing anything spectacular for our 300th like we did some really cool stuff for 100. It was our first, or it was a live episode that we did actually at oh hey Dutch.
Touching.
But for our 100 we did a live show at
Bottoms Up.
No, that was
at Royal Oak Music. Royal
100 was at Royal Oak Brewery.
Right.
200 I don't even remember what we did.
Well, one of them wasn't the show at Bottoms Up. Wasn't that an anniversary show of some kind?
No, that was number 97. I think it was 97 or 98. It was just before our 100th episode, and that was our first live show.
It was. So yeah, thanks again for joining us tonight, guys. Again, 300 episodes. It's really amazing. It's and we've been fairly consistent. I was telling Stella earlier tonight that I think maybe in the span of 6 years, we've only maybe skipped I don't know what, 10 weeks, maybe 12 weeks altogether.
It's been probably close to 14 in 6 years. So.
Okay, well, see, that's really not bad.
That's my guess.
Yeah,
you figure 52 times 6. That's 300 and what? 312. So yeah, it'd be about 14.
Yeah,
we've missed.
Yeah.
But yeah, we really have been pretty consistent. We've tried to. That's one of the big things that we've really tried to do is be consistent and bring you all fantastic, or at least moderately entertaining.
As entertaining as we're physically able to create.
But yeah, I'm glad that we're still here. We have come a long ways since being huddled around a single microphone. In our first episode.
And when we were just audio too.
Yeah. And that's part of it. That's one of the reasons why we're not doing anything special tonight or super special tonight, is because it's hard to do a live show when you need good internet, because I mean, a lot of bars you got internet, but it's not enough to really stream on. So
Correct. So,
yeah.
but anyway, it's really great that just really great to be here and be back for our 300th. And
I'm glad we were able to time it so that you were back for the 300th too.
Yeah. Hey, thanks, Dutch. We try.
We do. We do. Thank you, Dutch.
So, well,
Renee also says that we sat uncomfortably close back in the early days.
Hi, Chris. How was your week?
Yeah.
So speaking of that, Chris, how was your week? How did you have a nice Thanksgiving?
I was sick all weekend, so
you were kind of
yeah. I was kind of out of it, but I mean, I wasn't sick enough to where I wasn't doing things, and it wasn't COVID related. I tested and I came up negative, but I wasn't feeling great on Thanksgiving. I still enjoyed myself. Went over to my brother-in-law's, over to Rich's, and hung out there, had a good time. And then
we also had game on Friday.
And then we had game on Friday, and then which was absolutely fantastic. We got to finish up the Halloween episode, or the Halloween side adventure that I had for you guys.
Sure. It only took three sessions to get through.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be 2, but it wound up being a third. It had, and I kind of rushed through a little bit of it. I could have pulled it out a little bit farther, but it had enough of a creep factor, I think, from what you guys were saying, that
fucking ain't right. Jesus.
Yeah.
It was there was a good deal of creep factor going on, duder.
Yes. Hey, Bob. Yeah, Bob said the game on Friday was disturbing but great.
Yeah. Hey, Bob. It was quite.
And then Saturday we had I had the Learn to Curl mini bond, so the little mini tournament. So I got to curl.
That's right, yeah.
And then I was supposed to curl on Sunday. I run the league on Sunday night, but my game wound up as a forfeit because the other team didn't have enough players that could show up. So other than that, it's been work.
Big. I have both that and the opposite. My work, I mean, it was insane. For as all of you guys know, those of you guys that listen regularly, watch regularly, I was working for the parade at the parade company nonstop. I think it was 18 days straight, and I mean that's not out of the ordinary to do maybe 2 weeks straight or whatever, but this with 18 straight was a little rough. And I was also doing 10 to 15 hour days for the most part too, so I was exhausted, and I'm still exhausted. We worked and the wild thing, like the previous weekend, it was ridiculously frigid. I was snowing in the studio.
I saw Ross's post of the live or the
snow,
the video of the snow coming down in the
one of the skylights is very loose, and when the wind blows, it kind of opens it up a bit, and when it blows really hard, like a specific direction, excuse me, and it was just really, really cold, and it was so cold in the studio that the snow was not melting inside until it hit the ground. So yeah, that was messed up, man. All of a sudden I look around, I'm like, am I getting snowed on? And I'm like, it was terrible. But we had sub-zero temperatures even almost in the building, and I think it was maybe 30, 35 degrees in the building. And but then that Monday, and then every day after that, it dramatically warmed up. I think from Sunday to Monday, it was like a 20-degree temperature shift or something like that, or 20, 25-degree temperature shift. By Thanksgiving, we were in the low 50s again, too. And so we had a beautiful week.
Yeah, I'd say Thanksgiving was a beautiful day. Couldn't have asked for a better day for the parade.
Oh no, we had a beautiful week for rollout, to get the last of the floats kind of polished off and finished up on Monday, and for rollout and everything. And And then the day of was also gorgeous. You know, the nice thing too is on rollout for the actual, you know, day before Thanksgiving, getting everything down to the route. We had very little damage done to the floats too. So when we were doing repair on Wednesday night, we were done. God, sorry,
Good, man.
I'm gonna wake my ass up. We were done by 9:30ish, which is pretty great because there's a lot of times the night before the parade we're out there till midnight or later. So in fact, at one point, like a couple of my artists carry around like these like just personal speakers instead of sometimes because instead they don't always want to have their headset in or earbuds in or whatever. So they'll carry around a good sized JVL speaker that they Bluetooth speaker. And then so on Wednesday I had at least 3 different artists that were walking around with these speakers on. And at one point, right around when we were about ready to get done, they just all broke into a dance party. And then right in between the floats and people walking, because there are a lot of people walking up and down Woodward taking a look at the floats. And then all of a sudden, Tony Michaels, the CEO, comes walking up and he's like, "Hey, you guys aren't supposed to be having a good time." And, you know, and then he mentioned at the meeting today, or we had our staff meeting, our wrap up staff meeting today, about how he got such a tickle out of that. It was really cool that just showed how we were all having a good time and whatnot, even though we had pretty much just destroyed ourselves for the last 3 weeks, 6 weeks, 2 months. But we were still enjoying our time out there. So
that's also think about that, dude. They're walking around with these little speakers, and we had to walk around with those giant fucking boom boxes.
Chris, you just did a back in my day.
Yep.
Back in my day, we had to carry our music in a boom box.
You had to
put it on our shoulders like that. It was like a weight.
Yeah, you had to lift weights to be able to actually carry it around.
Carry it around, and you just have it up against your ear, and everybody would hear it. So, yeah, you didn't have privacy or nothing. No, it was crazy. You just had to listen to all this music really super loud. And that's the way it was back in the day. That's just the way it was.
The CD said, put it on your BMX bike handlebars.
Yeah. Yeah, they have like 8 C batteries.
Double D's, man.
Double D batteries. Those things. That was a big one. Well, if you had the really big ones, but you could maybe get away with the C's if you didn't if it too big. So yeah, back in the day.
No, it's also just a matter of how far technology's come in what is relatively a short time.
Oh yeah.
Which we're gonna get into some of that later too.
Absolutely. So what are you drinking, brother?
I'm two-fisting it tonight.
Well, anyway, to finish up, parade happened. I slept for 12 hours. I'm on the mend.
So
sort of. You're drinking.
I'm two-fisting it. I am drinking Cognac because it is such a special episode. So, as one. But then I'm also drinking a stout tonight, a bourbon barrel stout from Goose Island. It is Bourbon County. Bourbon County, the original brand stout, or Bourbon County brand stout, the original. They call it the original bourbon barrel aged stout. It's from Goose Island, which is actually owned by Budweiser, but that's the bottle. It's a tough to find beer. This particular one is from 2020. I actually bought it last year. I found it, and it's been about a year that I've been holding on to it. It has a ton of bourbon and barrel aroma. And I'm going to take another sip because I've only taken like one sip so far. So,
a ton of bourbon barrel aroma.
Mm-hmm.
Well, already.
And it's got all the flavors that you would expect in a bourbon barrel stout. It has the maltiness. It's got some chocolate, some vanilla. The bourbon is definitely there. It's definitely got it's actually got the bourbon warmth. And it's got quite a bit of bourbon flavor. But it's not bad. It's a little sweet. and it may be a little cloying after a little bit, but this
kind of like me.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
sorry.
The Moniac is 14.5% ABV. This is 14.6.
Jesus, Mary and Joseph. That's crazy, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's 14.6. This was let's see. What's that 16? Oh, drink by the 16th of July in 25.
All right, so you got some time.
Yeah, I got a little time. I've got another bottle of this too. So I do have one other bottle that I was going to save. This is a beer that, depending on the year, if you find it and you get it, you can hold on to it, and about age 3 or 4, you can actually sell it there's a secondary beer market, that you can actually sell it on the secondary beer market for upwards of $300-$400 sometimes per bottle.
Holy shit balls.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
But yeah, I found it at a local place here by me, just a little bottle shop that I go to, and they had a whole bunch of bottles. I bought 4 of them, picked up 2 for one of my buddies, and I kept 2. And I actually almost went back and bought the rest of them just to have them, but because I've never actually seen them in a store before. So
you've never seen them in a store?
Yeah. I've never actually seen Bourbon County. They were raffling them off when I went to the Chicago Spiel in October. They actually had 4 bottles that they were raffling off in 2 different raffles. And yeah, it was a silent auction, and I think they went for the 3 bottles went for over $100. And then the single bottle with something else went for probably about the same amount.
I don't know why you're drinking this shit, man. You should be reselling it.
Well, that's the thing. I saved one, and it's there's no telling whether or not it's actually going to go up. This is a year that will go up in value. I probably won't know that until at least next year.
Okay.
And I'm not big on the secondary market. I know some people who are. I would consider it. If I can get $300 for a bottle of beer that I paid $16 for, I'd sell that.
Dude,
that's a good return on investment.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is good. I will give it. I'm gonna say. I'll give it 4 bottle caps. It is pretty damn good. It's pretty tasty.
Okay.
So, Goose Island, Bourbon County, 2020. So, oh yeah, CD said resell nonsense. Save for a good occasion and enjoy, unless you hate it. Yeah, and that's why I opened it tonight.
Well, you got the money.
Yep, I have been saving it for a special occasion. And I was downstairs today looking through all my beer, and I'm like, what do I want to have tonight? This is 300. I want something special. I went, I can open up one of those. So I did. I gave Renee a little bit. She's also having some wine. So,
hey, Bob.
Oh, I see.
Comedy bronze. Yeah. That's right.
All right. What are you drinking?
Tonight I'm drinking some wine. I'm having some wine.
Yeah. You said that Stella's trying to get you drunk.
Yeah, we're taking that's a fucking half of. She gave me half this bottle. Some Witch's Brew spiced apple wine from Leonau Cellars. They make the Witch's Brew stuff. It's 12.5 alcohol by volume, so it's it's a little stronger than I'm used to, but it's not crazy. Sweet crisp apple, cinnamon, and brown sugar from the Spice Merchant. Enjoy chilled or serve warm like a steamy apple crumble from Grandma's Kitchen. Pairs perfectly with a cozy porch swing on a fall evening. Excuse me, I should have read that in a deeper tone. Sweet crisp apples, cinnamon, brown sugar from the Spice Merchant. Enjoy chilled or serve warm like a steamy apple crumble from Grandma's Kitchen. Pairs perfectly with a cozy porch swing on a fall evening.
Pure Michigan.
Pure Michigan. So Stella can't drink that whole bottle by herself. Oh, bullshit, she can't.
She said can. She corrected it.
She can? Yeah, she totally fucking can. She'll probably come out of it with a little bit of a buzz, but yeah. No, I told her I bought it yesterday. I was at this because I went grocery shopping for the first time in like a month, and that was an expensive trip. Holy shit, man. It's ridiculous how expensive groceries have gotten. But anyways, yeah, so I went grocery shopping for some. I was like, oh, this is like, it's probably some of the last stuff left over from Halloween and stuff, but it's a really good, nice spiced wine.
You have it just straight up, or did you warm it up?
Oh, I just straight up. It says mid. It's on a scale from one to 5 on dry to sweet. It's a 3. It's kind of in the middle there. This is great stuff. I mean, this is really, really good. They've got a couple of different, like, very fall-oriented wines. And it is not a cider. It is not a mead. It is a wine. It doesn't really have an ingredients label for ingredients. But I do believe it still is, it's apple wine is what they call it. So, excuse me. But it's really nice. If you like this kind of stuff, if you're a big fan of this particular kind of alcohol, it's awesome. It really is nice. So
let's see.
It's got a nice cinnamon flavor. The cinnamon is actually even on the strong side. So
okay. Let's see here. CD is doubling. He's having a Grand Cherry from Blake's 8.5. Awesome. And Cinderella Milkshake IPA from Short Fuse 7.5. Pretty decent, but odd. And Wings Kook is having the Cooper's Hawk Cabernet Sauvignon.
Cabernet Sauvignon. Excellent. Or Wings as wine. You're not on the show's way. Those are okay.
Those are the alcohol percentages, 8.5 and 7.5.
Yeah.
So yeah, milkshake IPAs I find to be odd because they've got lactose in them, so that they become kind of creamy, but they still have all the hop flavor and usually citrusy hop flavor of an IPA. So they've got that weird combo.
Mm-hmm.
So the mouthfeel is weird for what you get for the flavor. But yes, so 300 episodes, can't believe it. But also today marks the 50th anniversary of really the video game era.
Yeah.
In that today is the day 50 years ago, 1972, that Atari released Pong in North America.
That's really striking. I mean, the fact that the video game, I mean, I'm 48. So in 1972 was essentially the beginning of the video game era here in the United States. I think Japan had a couple of these games ahead of time, like a little bit, because I think Pong still came over. I'm not entirely certain. Did Pong come over from overseas, or was that an American?
No, it came from Atari. Atari's an American company.
Oh, okay.
Which I didn't realize.
So the video game era started here in 1972, just before I was born. So I have literally the vast majority of my life, video games have been around. And now, granted, they weren't common and they weren't household items until a few years later. But I do remember playing when I was about 5 years old, playing Pong on my neighbor's television because they had an older Pong setup, and by then it had been around. It was like so we're talking like 79, 80, and so it had been around for a few years at that point. But I think it was still kind of pricey.
Yeah, we didn't have the Atari Pong because that one had like the dials that you used. We had one that actually had like levers that you just moved up and down.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And there were a number of knockoffs, from what I understand too.
But it was 5 years later that Atari put out the Atari 2600. Right. That was September 11th, 1977, when that one came out.
That was when the first Atari came out?
Yeah, the Atari 2600.
Okay. So I never got an Atari.
Well, I had a 2600, man. I remember sitting there playing decathlon, and you to like run the races, you would turn the joystick sideways and just like sit there and shake it up and down as fast as you could.
Yeah.
But yeah, those were and then Dungeon, of course.
Of course. My ex-wife could play the shit out of Dungeon. She actually had like 2 or 3 Atari 2600s because she was a big thrifter. And she used to go to thrift stores all the time. She would get, whenever she found a working 2600, she'd buy it. Because although she was not a big fan of modern video games, she was a huge fan of classic old school video games, and used to play the shit out of and all of the 2600 games. I even bought her one of those little, it was an Atari joystick, but it had like 50 games on a SIM card inside it, and then you just plugged the whole thing into your TV, and then just with the joystick you could select all these games and play it. She didn't like it. She preferred to still pull out the old Atari. She even went to Radio Shack and got, like, when we still had Radio Shacks, and got like the software or the hardware that she needed to convert it and to be able to put the hook up the 2600 to an old TV that she had. Because even though it was an old TV, it was still newer than what the
I was gonna say
it was still a tube TV. It was like a small tube television.
I don't even know that you can hook an old Atari like that up to a modern TV. I don't know if there's even conversions that you can do.
I think they're too powerful. I think they're the resolution on them is too much. So you try and hook it up, and it'd just be a big blob on the screen. So yeah.
But yeah, just think about that. In 50 years, we went from 2 paddles that bounced a little dot back and forth
to God of War Ragnarok.
Yes.
To Skyrim. To
Cyberpunk.
And Cyberpunk. Shit, Skyrim's 11 years old.
Yeah.
To Cyberpunk, to any of these new games, to Horizon West.
Yeah.
I mean, these games where in VR, I mean the VR games and stuff, these games that are almost realer than real life, and it's really amazing. I marvel at that all the time. I just think about that all the time, about how incredible this stuff it really is.
Favorite game system I'm gonna say pre PlayStation.
Well, I didn't have, like I said, I didn't have a 2600. I didn't have a video game system until the Nintendo. My parents, we had a pretty tight budget when I was a kid, and when I was junior high, we finally got a Nintendo. At that point, the Nintendo had been out for maybe a year or two. I think I got it in 6th or 7th grade, maybe. And but I really did like the 2600, but I just didn't get a chance to play it as often. I had to go to friends' houses and play it. So we didn't get a video game system until much later. I would have to say before I got my PS2, I'd have to say the Nintendo was my favorite.
Which version?
It was just the original Nintendo.
The original?
Yeah, because it was just so groundbreaking. There were so many games. I honestly only had maybe 20 games for it too. I rented a lot of games, borrowed them from friends and stuff, but it was such a impactful. Particularly at the time in my life too. It was kind of a big deal. Other than that, the PS2 was also a pretty big deal, because and in all honesty, the PS2 is still, I believe, still like the most successful video game system of all time.
Yeah, for me, I was never a Nintendo. We never had Nintendos when I was growing up. We had the Atari, the 2600, and then my brother got himself the 7800 or 7200, whatever it was.
Oh wow! Okay, I remember that.
Which was cool, but I never really got into that. And then I got myself the Sega Genesis, and eventually, and eventually a Super Nintendo.
Right.
And I liked the Super Nintendo, but honestly, Sega Genesis was my one. That was my game, my system before PlayStation. Because once PlayStation came along, I became a PlayStation guy, and I've had every iteration of PlayStation since it came out. I had 1, 2, 3, 4, and now 5.
I started
Xbox,
the 2. I didn't get I never got a 1.
Yeah, I did have the original. And actually that had one of my favorite games on it. It was
Bob went to the arcade.
Yeah, I did that too. But it had a game, I think it was on that one, not on 2. But it was a racing game where you're basically racing jet skis. Turbo powered jet skis, and I just loved that game. I got really good at it too.
What was your favorite game to go to play at the arcade?
Galaga.
Okay.
Galaga was one of my favorites. It's actually one of the ones I was the best at. It wasn't the one I was the best at. There was a Konami basketball game where you basically played in junior high, high school, college, but you kept going up. And my buddy and I got so good at that game that we played it all the time at this party store by his house, that we'd walk in, start playing it, buy some pops and sit and drink pop and out of glass bottles. And at the time I smoked, and I'd sit there and smoke inside the party store while we're playing video games. They had ashtrays on the sides of the video games.
Oh, I remember that.
Yep.
I remember that.
And we'd sit there and play, and guys would walk in and go, oh shit, and look and see how far we were, and they just go, all right, I'll be back later. And they would leave because we would play on 1 quarter for an hour and a half.
Jesus. On 1 quarter?
Yep. We got that good at the game because it was a pattern.
It's just game. Galaga?
No, Galaga? This was Konami basketball.
Oh, Konami. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that was one. It was a pattern game. If you learned the patterns for each setup, then you could constantly score. And it was just a matter of timing your passes. And it was just boom, 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 score. Boom, 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 score. Boom, 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 score. Okay, Rampage, Paperboy, and Gauntlet. Those were all good ones.
Loved those.
What were some of the other ones? Dragon's Lair. I love that.
I love Dragon's Lair. Dragon's Lair and Gauntlet, where I was just actually going to say both of those were some of my favorites at the arcade.
There was another one. I forget what it was called.
Wizard needs food badly.
Yeah. Valkyrie has entered the game.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed Gauntlet, but the other one, there was another one of those Laserdisc games, because Dragon's Lair was the first one to come out.
Space Ace.
Space Ace was good. I never got really great at that, but there was another one that was like it was like a spy thriller thing where you were getting chased by ninjas. That's the only one I ever finished.
Oh, wow.
Because
that one.
Yeah, because that one would actually tell you what you did wrong.
Space Ace and Dragon's Lair were both extremely difficult too.
Yes.
I just remember playing those as a kid and just
be a flash and you had 1 second to react.
If that.
Yeah.
It was so hard.
Joust was awesome.
Joust was great. Joust was a recipe for a fucking arm sprain though, because you're just you're beating a fucking beat that fucking thing just to get your wings to flap. But do you remember the hologram game too?
No.
There was a game. It was similar. It was actually like a fighting game or something, sort of. It was like you were a sheriff, is like time raiders or something, and you were some sheriff from the Old West, and you'd been pulled into the time stream, and it was all acted. It was all like filmed real people, but it was similar to it was all on a big laser disc, and depending on how you hit the thing, it would go to different sections on the disc, and but it was a hologram, and if you had to stand in the right place so you could see it, and it was pretty cool, but it was groundbreaking. And I remember, I don't know if you guys remember that. Oh man, I loved Dig Dug. That was one of my favorites too. But it was like it was like $1 to play that game back in like the 80s. So you're like talking, holy shit, this is super expensive. So yeah.
Tappers, that was what I was thinking of. CD.
Oh, Tappers was always fun. Did you play the beer version or the A&W version?
The beer version. But Street Fighter was another one I really got into for a while. Yes, Pac-Man, which is not the original name. The original name is Puck-Man. And they changed it to Pac-Man when they moved it to the US because they were afraid people would just scratch out part of the P.
Oh yeah, of course.
On the games and make it Fuckman.
Like you do.
Yep. Cubert.
Because we're mature. I never liked Cubert.
I was never a big Cubert fan. Zaxxon, one of the first isometric games.
Dude, I loved Burger Time. I loved Burger Time.
I never really played Burger Time.
Yeah.
But yeah, Zaxxon was one of the first like isometric games. Frogger.
I was a big fan of Frogger.
My cousin actually had, so when he got out of college, he lived with a bunch of his college buddies. They got a house over in Livonia, and their basement, this was like the ultimate bachelor pad. They had, like, at the time, a 55-inch screen TV. Their basement had a slot car racetrack, a pool table, a PlayStation, a 32-inch TV with a PlayStation hooked up to it, a full wet bar, a dartboard, and 3 stand-up video games.
Nice.
They had Pit Fighter. What was it? Time something. It was a Konami game. It was the like a Time Travelers or Time something. And then Robotron.
Nice. That is a classic for you.
Yep. And man, I used to love going over there for parties. Oh, and they had a poker table set up in the basement too. So
good stuff. Good stuff.
Yep. So, but yeah, so today, 50 years. I'll raise a glass to 50 years of video games.
50 years of wonderful, wonderful video games.
Thank you, Atari, for starting.
Thank you. And Nintendo and Sega and all these other companies that kept it going.
And Sony and even Microsoft.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But with that, some other things have come out. And we haven't had a chance to talk about a lot of things. I know.
Oh yeah. Well, I've been so busy.
But one of the big ones, Sega. Why is that not being allowed? It's making me auto-modded CD saying Sega. I don't know why.
I got it. It looks at that.
Well, I just allowed it because I'm like, why is that making me? Oh, Spy Hunter, yes.
I remember Spy Hunter, man.
Nice one.
Played the shit out of that game.
Oh yeah, I did too. But anyway, last week we got a couple of things that came out. One of which I know both of us have watched now is the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special.
Holy fuck balls! Now we don't want to do too many. I mean, it just came out on like Thursday or something like that on Thanksgiving or Wednesday.
No, Friday. It did come out.
Friday. It was Friday.
Yeah, it came out the day.
So I don't want to do too much in the way of spoiler yet. I mean that it's only been a few days, so maybe next week we can. But it was I watched it last night, and I gotta say,
he said spoil it so he doesn't watch it.
So I don't. It was fucking adorable. It was really funny. For those of you guys who haven't seen the trailer. It's or the commercial or whatever. Basically, Peter is bummed out. It's Christmas time. He's kind of bummed out, and Kraglin.
Well, he's bummed out because Gamora's gone.
Right, because Gamora's gone and it's Christmas time, and Kraglin tells the rest of the group about how like Yondu kind of ruined Christmas for Pete.
Yeah,
and so they decide. They're gonna go to Earth and they're gonna get him a gift. And what are they gonna get him? Kevin Bacon.
The hero Kevin Bacon.
The hero, the great hero of Earth, Kevin Bacon.
And yes, Bob, it does kind of give the Star Wars holiday special vibes in a good way.
But it's in a total good way.
There's cartoons, there's music, it has everything that the Star Wars
The
special
flashback,
with better acting.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. The flashback they actually rotoscoped, which was really cool.
Yeah.
It was animated, but it was all rotoscoped. You get to see Cosmo, the Russian space dog.
Yep.
So there's more of that. That was really cool. And there's a couple of couple of lore things that they drop later on. I don't want to spoil it, but there is a post-credit scene, so you do need to stick around for the post-credit scene. I do remember seeing people were complaining a little bit because Groot looks different now. He's growing up.
He's lifting.
He's beefy now.
Yeah,
instead of being kind of tall and lean like he used to be. Now he's not quite as tall. He's kind of he's normal size, but he's thick. Yeah. He's definitely been pumping iron or pumping
wood,
cedar or something. I don't know. But it was really fucking it was really fucking funny, and it was sweet too. It was like really cute. Like, I don't want to say cute. It was just like there was a few moments in it that you're just like, well, that was fucking really sweet. Like, and that's what you need for a Christmas special. Mm-hmm. It needs to pluck on the heartstrings a scotch, just a little bit, and at least a little bit. If it gets too much, it gets cheesy and whatnot. But this was really great. I mean, I have to admit, I got a little misty-eyed, at one point. I'm like, damn, I got misty-eyed at a Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special. What the actual fuck?
Yeah, and I gotta say the one thing that this had didn't have that the Star Wars had was a whole bunch of actors coked out.
Yeah.
It didn't look like everybody that was on it was stoned out of their minds.
Yeah, absolutely.
The music was actually pretty good. That song was actually.
As somebody said to me, it's the Christmas soundtrack you didn't know you needed. Yeah. I mean, Kevin Bacon even performs. I mean, a lot of people don't know this, but Kevin Bacon actually has had a band.
Yep.
The Bacon Brothers, he's had a band with his brother and stuff for years. And so he performs, like that. I don't know how good he is, but it was just a lot of fun. And I do highly recommend anybody to watch it.
Yeah, and the band that performs is the old 97s, which is a alternative country band.
Which is just that word itself, those words. I do not understand the words that you are saying because what the actual fuckage. But yeah, they were great. They were all made up. They got them all made up in makeup and stuff.
Yep.
And, yeah, so highly recommend it, guys. Go ahead and check it out. Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special, well worth it. And it's in canon. It's part of lore.
Yep.
I'm like, all right, that's great, man. Really cool. So to piggyback on that, I finally got to see over the weekend, took the time to go and see Wakanda Forever. Now, I know you haven't seen it yet.
No, I have not.
This is a very spoiler-free review, but God damn it, guys. They knocked it out of the park again. A lot of people, a lot of the Marvel movies, their second outing in a franchise has often been considered like a lesser outing. Iron Man 2, not as good as Iron Man 1. Captain America 2.
Yeah, I think that was pretty
better. Goddamn good. That was pretty much. I'd say that was better. That was That was Winter Soldier. So that was really good. But Thor 2, a lot of people feel Dark World was inferior to the first one.
I enjoyed Dark World.
A lot of people felt the second Avengers film wasn't as good as the first Avengers film. So
a lot of those movies are very different than their originals.
True. Also because different directors and writers too. So, but I gotta say, this one, holy shitballs, they did a great freaking job. Knocked it right out of the park. I mean, and it's tough to follow up, a movie where the star fucking died of cancer, but they do a really good job kind of dealing with that. It's not heavy-handed. It's pretty much the entire supporting cast is back. So you're seeing, short of like say Killmonger who passed away, but or any of the characters that passed away. But it was really, really good. And it was a long film, 2 hours 40 minutes, but it didn't feel like it. It was just really, really fun all around. The guy playing Namor, fuck, really, really cool. I mean,
Okay.
I was come on, CD. They did have I'm going to say this. They did have an utterance of the word mutant, so that was fun. That was cool. It's only the second time we've heard the utterance of the word mutant in
the M word.
In the M word in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. There were a few changes to Namor that I was a little like, I don't know if I like that, but we'll talk about that after you've seen it. But it was still, I mean, the guy was great. I'd say they also don't refer to Atlantis as Atlantis, and I think, and I was talking to a friend of mine, and I was like, "Why?" My housemate John, and I was like, "I wonder why they did that," and he was like, "Aquaman."
Mm-hmm.
Like Aquaman got there first, and they probably want to
distance themselves
from that. It was an undersea city called Talactin or something like that, and it was very South American, as you could see from the trailers, just from the way they looked, from the way Namor looks. They all looked they were all obviously evolved from South American bloodlines. So that was.
I wasn't sure
cool
it was South American, Central American, or if it was going to be like Polynesian or something.
Yeah. So yeah, it was very Aztec Mayan kind of design. And I loved it. I thought it was really great. It's interesting because many people would consider like Namor was always depicted as a white guy, or even maybe kind of like lightly Asian, depending on how he was depicted and the artists that were drawing him and stuff. And in this, I mean, the guy just really killed it. It was really cool. One of the things that I really appreciate too was their attention to detail about creating technology that really reflects the culture. Like at one point, the Queen is flying. Her ship is flying back into Wakanda, and she contacts them to basically lower their shield that they have around their cities, the main city and stuff, and or around all of Wakanda, whatever it is. And so instead of typing in a code or some sort of password or something into a keyboard or hitting buttons on a keyboard, no, there's a basin with water in it, and the guy taps out a specific rhythm in this bowl of water. I was like, that's fucking brilliant. That's so cool. I mean, why would a technologically advanced, isolated culture use a keyboard or use buttons or use whatever? They used what was associated with their culture, and I was like, wow, that is really freaking smart. The same thing with like the undersea people. They had technology that they had developed for people that lived under the fucking sea. I was like, oh, that's really, really cool. Ironheart was really cool. She's a great addition to this movie. She didn't overpower anything, but she was a major part of the story. Just all around really, really excellent film. And I mean, Mbari, who became who's like the man-ape, he becomes an advisor to the crown essentially, and they expand upon him and his lore and his character, and I was like, that's really.
I'm glad
cool.
they made him pretty cool and not like the way he is in the comics. Because
for sure, absolutely, much cooler in the MCU than he is in the comic. In the comic, he's kind of vaguely racist, you know. So it's a kind of a racial kind of a racist kind of character, because he was the man ape, and it was just very it's just it smacked of a character that was created in the 70s, you know, just something where when people were less sensitive. And so that character, the actor and that character in this film was a lot better. So guys, I mean, it is the #1 movie in the country right now, at least until Avatar comes out. Avatar 2 comes out in like 2 weeks.
I really have no interest in that one.
I'm interested. I mean, I enjoyed Avatar.
I might have been interested if it was made within 10 years of the original, but you know,
that was a problem. I think they really should have pushed to put that out a much sooner. But I'm still interested. I'll still see it.
Like
I might wait until it comes to Blu-ray or something, but I'll see it.
When did Avatar originally come out? 2009. So yeah, so it's been 13 years.
Kevin Bacon as the Beyonder. That would be perfect.
No.
Well, you know, it's funny to go back to that. I was telling Stella when we were watching it, I go, all right, this is the pitch that they went to Kevin Bacon for. They're like, all right, listen, Kevin, we got an idea. We got an idea, man. Now, you'll never be able to play a character in the MCU. But we got a great idea. Here, you know, you're going to be in the Christmas special. You're going to play yourself. And I think I think he kind of went, all right, shit, why not?
Well, it's like the way that they approached Peter Dinklage about his role in the MCU.
Yeah.
Hey, they need a dwarf. Oh, of course they do. And blah. No, here's the thing.
Here's the thing. And he kind of went, all right, I'm in. Yeah, let's do it. That was great stunt casting, by the way. Yeah, big fat paycheck, I'm in.
Yeah, MCU money, baby.
Yeah. But I enjoyed Avatar. I mean, like everybody in the world, I enjoyed the first Avatar. I thought it was brilliant. And it is one of those movies that you kind of need to see on the big screen because it kind of demands it. You know, you kind of.
Well, I mean, yeah, the special effects were great and everything like that. But I have to agree with Renee in that it's a retelling of Fern Gully. That's all it is.
Absolutely. I mean, it was, you know, Dances with Aliens. I mean, there was a lot of stuff that people related it to, like, you know.
Even right down to the tree.
Yeah.
It was Fern Gully without Batsy.
Was that his name, Batsy?
Yeah, that was Robin Williams' character.
Is the Robin Williams character?
Yeah, Batsy. Oh, gravity works.
It was typical Robin Williams fare.
Oh yeah,
that one, but still awesome. But I still, like I said, it was also groundbreaking in the way they did the special effects and some of the concepts were kind of cool. Oh, we're going to create these genetically engineered bodies that we're just going to control via VR. It was like, all right, I'm in. Let's check this out. So I am still interested to see the second one. Like I said, I have a real nice television now, so maybe I'll just wait until it comes to Blu-ray or 4K, and I'll get it then.
And this whole thing, going back to the Kevin Bacon thing in this.
We keep traveling back to Kevin Bacon.
Well, yeah, but there was something that I just thought of as well was the other thing that this does is that it makes the 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon a lot easier now for a lot of the newer actors because
absolutely
you got the entire MCU now within like at most
shooting distance of Kevin
at most
Bacon.
2 hops to
6 Degrees of Kevin. That was such a fun game. Unobtainium. Yes, Unobtainium was a dumb thing, and that was they could have called it anything else. Yeah. Avatar Underwater, the only way to watch, right? So we'll see, guys. Yeah. It's gonna kill.
I know it is.
If there's anything that's gonna knock Wakanda Forever, anything coming up that's gonna knock.
Why don't we just have a sequel to Titanic? You know,
you bite your motherfucking tongue. You bite your motherfucking tongue. What the fuck is the matter with you? God damn it. fuck you, Titanic. We don't need another goddamn Titanic. The first one was bad enough. Didn't see where I was going with that one, huh?
my thing with Titanic was, everyone's like, "Oh, you gonna go see it?" I said, "No, I know how it ends.
Yeah,
the boat sinks.
Yeah.
Like, I know how the movie ends. I don't need to go see it."
That movie was in the theater forever. It was in the theater for a very long time. I think I saw it. I probably saw it at least a year after it came out, and it was still in the theater. You could still catch it in the theaters. My girlfriend at the time was like, she absolutely loved it. She'd seen it like 5-6 times. I'm like, I don't want to see this fucking movie. I'm not interested. And finally, she said, please go and see it. It's so wonderful, so romantic. I'm like, all right, fine. I went and saw it. And I gotta admit, it was a good movie. It was good. James
I eventually saw it.
James Cameron doesn't make bad movies, It was a good film. I still think it was overrated. And because of the big deal that people made out of that movie, I still don't really care for Leonardo DiCaprio. I've liked many of the movies that he's been in. I own many movies that he's been in. But I just have never been a big fan of him personally. And he just, I don't know, rubs me the wrong way. And I think some of it is been because, and it's not like he's not a good actor. The guy's a really good actor. I think going all the way back to Titanic and how people made such a big deal out of it, of him and that performance, I was just like, I don't care for him. Plus, there's more than enough room on that fucking door, Rose.
Yeah.
More than enough room for another person, Rose.
Plenty of fucking room.
Might have been difficult to get on the goddamn door, but there was room. There was room on the door for. I'm so cold, Rose. I'm so cold. And then she drops the fucking diamond in the ocean.
Yeah.
She's hanging on to this for 80 years, and then she drops it in the goddamn. What the hell's the matter with you? There had to have been moments that selling that diamond would have been a good idea, Bad set design. Shit, CD. Oh, man.
All right, well, we should move on. So
we should.
Another thing that's been out since that we haven't had a chance to talk about, at least not you and I, is Andor. And I know you said you were only 5 episodes into it.
5 or 6 in, yeah. They're just getting ready to do the heist.
Okay. Renee and I have finished it, and honestly, I gotta say it's a slow build for a show, and it even slows down in the middle a little bit. It is not your typical Star Wars show. It has lulls. But overall, I think the story is fantastic. I like the new droid, BD or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's a droid with anxiety.
Yeah. What kind of droid is he? Because he's not an astromech.
No, he's not. He's like a helper droid. I'm not sure what kind of droid he is. I have to look him up. But overall, I truly enjoyed the show. Now, you haven't gotten to some of the other stuff, you haven't seen Andy Serkis's character.
No, yeah, I know he's in it, but I have not seen him.
They're Emo 1, yeah.
Is that what they call it?
Yeah, it's Emo 1, yeah.
Emo 1. I like the fact that it takes energy for him to lie. Did you catch that? He goes, I know it takes a lot of energy, but I need you to make a lie for me. That's a concept.
Yeah. But Andy Serkis' character is actually really cool, and there's people now that say they want a show that tells his backstory and who he is and where he comes from.
Okay.
I want to know more about Skarsgård's character.
Yeah, he's fucking cool as hell, man. I want to know.
Dude,
what a transformation,
you find out more and more about him later as it goes on. He's a cold motherfucker.
Well, you could tell just in the beginning, when they first introduce him and he recruits Andor, and he's like, I mean, he's a badass. He's a badass like rebel fighter, you know. Now I was talking to John because he's a little more invested in some of this before, and I said, "Is this like, are we witnessing like some of the first volleys in the rebellion?
Yes.
Like them stealing this payroll and stuff?" And he's like, "Yeah, kind of, but you got to remember it's the Rebel Alliance, so there were multiple groups of rebels that were rebelling against the Empire, and finally they eventually like they come together."
Well, yeah, and they
at a certain
bring
point.
I don't know. Have you seen Saul Guerrera yet? Yeah, they bring Forrest Whitaker back as Saul Guerrera.
Oh, okay. So he's in the show.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Mon Mothma. I mean, we're seeing the beginnings of Mon
yeah.
Mothma, and
I've seen her.
Yep.
Her douchebag husband that kind of dresses like a Jedi. Did you notice that shit?
Yeah. Well, and they get into more about her marriage and things like that. It's an unhappy arrangement.
You think?
Yeah. Well, it's her culture arranges marriages.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, the husband's all like, "Why does everything have to be so boring?" You know.
Yeah.
It's also I like the fact that in this setting too, you see how people are just have kind of, and you saw it a little bit in Kenobi too, but you see how people have kind of just accepted the Empire. You know, that it's like, well, they keep the trains running on time. You know, they're keeping the peace. The rich people, the people that are not downtrodden, they're the ones whose lives didn't change a whole lot when the Empire took over.
Yeah,
it's the it's the poor people, the people out on the outer rim, and the people that are getting cacked by a pissed off Darth Vader walking around. Those are the ones that are really suffering. So I just found that to be really kind of cool, kind of interesting. Fascism. That's the danger of fascism. It slowly takes over until the point where you got no choice. There's nothing you can do about it anymore.
All right, so B2, so it's B2 EMO.
Is that really it?
Yes, it's B2 emo.
Fuck yeah, fuck.
Oh
my god.
B2 emo.
They need to go straight to hell.
Was a cutting edge ground mech salvage assist unit, fresh off the assembly line. Now very old and quite weary for a droid.
Okay. No wonder he's so emotional.
Yeah.
What else? I've just been I really that's the other thing too. I really appreciate the attention to detail from these Star Wars shows particularly. I mean, like you're just looking at the buildings that they made and I mean, this is a futuristic society but we also got to remember, I mean, it's really science fantasy. But they got the guy, instead of like just ringing a tone or ringing a bell or something like that. No, they get the guy that climbs up into the fucking bell tower. And he doesn't just ring a bell. He beats on with metal hammers, onto a big metal plate.
It's an anvil.
It is an anvil.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, essentially a big metal plate. You got
they call it the anvil later. They actually mention it.
Oh, they actually do. Okay.
Yeah.
But the fact that they also have you could see brickwork. Mm-hmm. They laid brickwork and mortar work and stuff like that.
You find out a lot more about that later too.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So there's a lot of grittiness
because there's a reason for the brickwork.
Okay. Cool.
But
then you go to Coruscant and you see where the beautiful people live, and again, detail everywhere. Just all of it's just really beautiful. And then I also remarked at one point, I was like, okay, so this is a futuristic society. They're stealing a payroll. They're still paying people in coinage. They're not just, it's not just like credits or whatever that are transferred. No, they're still paying people they're paying troops in money.
Yep.
I was like, that attention to detail. That's one of the things that separates Star Wars from a lot of the other sci-fi franchises like Star Trek. It's grittier. It's even in its most beautiful, it's still grittier and grounded and stuff like that. So I like that. It's cool.
But yeah, overall, I really enjoyed the show. I'm looking forward to season 2.
I'm looking forward to finishing it. I mean,
Yeah.
I was into it for by second season, or second episode, but then I just got busy with work and I was able to. But John and I binged it because John was like, "If anytime you want to watch it, I'll watch it with you again." I was like, "Okay, cool." So we started over, and I just binged like the first 5 episodes the other day. I'm like,
well, and what's his name? I'm blanking on his name, but Skarsgård's character, his ship's pretty badass too.
That ship is pretty badass,
and it actually has a built-in droid. That's what that.
I saw that
what,
too. Yeah,
that's what that is. It's actually a built-in droid, and there's a lot of people that keep saying, "Oh, his ship could take the Millennium Falcon," and like Bob said, that's like comparing James Bond's rides to the local drug dealer's van.
It is. It is. You know, it's or more like a souped up like lowrider or something. You know, I mean, it's James Bond's ride compared to like the guy's hot rod that he made that he souped up in his garage.
Well, it's even more the van because I mean, let's face it, it's just a freighter.
It is. It's a freighter with a really good engine.
Yeah.
That's all the Millennium Falcon really is. It is a freighter with a really good engine.
Yeah.
That he and Chewie like jury rigged and put a whole bunch of extra.
Actually, Lando's the one that put that together, I think.
Sure. But Chewie and Han did a lot of
they
did their own customing to it and stuff, you know. Like it's a freighter. Why does it have guns on it?
Well, it's gotta have the mural on it, CD.
Yeah, oh yeah. Oh, for sure. It's gotta have a mural. I gotta look at what's going on. It's gotta have like comparing Bob, that's a really good point.
But yeah.
And a co-pilot with a crossbow hanging out the window, like Luke Duke. Oh, you're showing your age, brother. Andor, check it out, guys.
Yes.
The first season is done, so you can binge the whole thing. Each episode is between 30 and 45 minutes, give or take. Each I think John said each 4 episodes is essentially a chapter.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to go like just watch 4 episodes at a time, you kind of get a chapter. And there's 12 episodes.
So Renee and I are trying to finish up shows before we start new ones because we have a whole bunch that are starting there's still even more that are coming. But
Stella and I just finished The Sopranos finally.
We finished Andor. We finished Arcane finally. Which,
oh man, I gotta get into that,
dude. If you're not watching that is so good. Considering it's based on a video game that I've never played,
right?
It's really good. But we're still trying to finish Rings of Power, and Orville. We've got like 2 episodes of Orville left. We just
you haven't finished Orville, huh?
No, because like we watched one last night. It's like watching a fucking movie. It was like an hour and a half long. They are long, yeah. I mean, it was great. It was the Dolly Parton episode.
Oh, it's such a good episode.
But yeah. So I mean, it was entertaining and all that, but it's a long episode. You can only watch. We only have a limited amount of time, especially with Renee's schedule.
Sure.
So she's in bed early a lot. So it's one of those things where we'll watch one of those and then we got to get ready for bed. So but tomorrow a new one starts up, and that's Willow.
Right.
And
holy shit, man! I am really anticipatory for this show. Man.
Yeah, and I saw a thing today that said that Val Kilmer is not in it. It wasn't even an option, and I know that Mad Mardigan plays a big role in it, but I don't think that. But he's not actually in it.
Right. Well, they did pretty much bring back almost everybody that they could, though.
Yes.
Which is pretty awesome. Sorsha is back. The character,
and that's actually that was Val Kilmer's wife, wasn't it?
Yes, they were married.
They were married.
A little
while. That's what I thought.
Val Kilmer.
I had a crush on her when I was young.
Man, she was so hot. But Val Kilmer has been fighting and has, from what I understand, it has successfully fought it off, but it pretty much took his vocal cords, took throat cancer, so that sucks. But yeah, I guess he was just way too sick to see.
Yeah, I actually want to watch. I agree, CD. I want to watch the movie again before I watch the show, just to.
I think I might.
It's been years since I've seen it.
Yeah, me too. It's on Disney Plus.
Yep.
I think I have a DVD too. But it was such a fun film. You know, I mean, it didn't do fantastic at the theater. I remember there was an episode of the Goldbergs where they dealt with the fact that that's Willow. I'm gonna go and see this, and it was, it's George Lucas is the guy that made Star Wars, and and he's such a huge fan of Star Wars. Then he goes and sees it, and he's like, yeah, it was okay. But he was walked into it thinking, oh, it's gonna change everything.
I love that movie basically up until they get to the castle and they have the big fight at the end.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it kind of loses me. The whole thing with the troll, I think, could have been left out. But I love the movie up until that point. The brownies are hilarious.
Oh yeah, they brought him. They brought what's his name?
One of the brownies back.
Yeah. Kevin. I'm blanking on his name. I'm blanking. But he's a pretty well-known actor, and I think when he did Willow, it was one of his earlier roles.
But yeah, that movie, Willow, was George Lucas written and Ron Howard directed.
Correct. It was one of Ron Howard's early
first films. Yep, it was one of his first directorial films. And I remember seeing that going, really? Richie Cunningham?
Yeah, Richie Cunningham. I remember everybody had that reaction. It's got a great cast. We got Aaron Kellyman, who was in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Joanne Whalley, who was Sorsha, Ruby Cruz, Ellie Bamber. She's done a bunch of stuff. A lot of young actors. What else we got? Of course, Warwick Davis reprising his role. It's 8 episodes, by the way, guys. 8 episodes. Julissa Garcia, Rosabelle, Loretti Sellers. I mean, I'm seeing faces I recognize, but a lot of these names, Ralph Ineson, he's been in a bunch of stuff. He's a pretty well-known British actor. He's been in a ton of shit. Guardians of the Galaxy, Green Knight, The Witch.
This might have to be our new show that we talk about, Russ.
I think so. This we'll have to binge, watch this and then discuss it. I am really fucking jazzed about this, man.
Yeah, I am too. I can't wait.
There's been a lot of fantasy shows of late, and
that's the thing. I have to add this to my list because I've already got on backlog that I haven't started yet. Peripheral, which I've heard really good things about.
Yeah, me too.
And what was the other one that we haven't started?
Well, I haven't started Rings of Power yet. I still have to finish House of the Dragon. And
so I finished House of the Dragon.
Yeah. And then we're gonna get into Rings of Power.
But yeah, we got a couple that we're waiting on. But yeah, Peripheral's one. Rings of Power we gotta finish. We're still trying to keep up with all of our other shows. Luckily right now they're kind of on hiatus because it's the holidays.
Right.
But like we still watch Rookie and I mean we don't watch a lot of the shows that are on regular TV.
And Rookie has also been on kind of like a hiatus. I mean, the Rookie Feds has been on.
Well, Rookie,
which is kind of cute.
Rookie's been on. It's just last week it wasn't on. So
right, it wasn't on. Was it on this week? I don't think so.
That's what I meant. This last week, it was on the week before that though.
It wasn't on last week, and it hasn't been on this week. That's
it comes out on Sunday.
Yeah, I know.
But it was on previous. It was on the previous Sunday.
Was it?
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm losing track of shit. The days were running together for me, man. I swear to God, Chris, there were several times over the last week that I was like, I don't know what day this is.
Well, even Renee says with her schedule, she's like, it's just day.
It's just day.
It's just day.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, back to stuff that's coming out. Next year, we get the Spider-Man Across the Multiverse, which is the animated sequel to Spider-Man
into
the multiverse or whatever it was.
Which was unbelievably good.
It was really good.
It was so good.
I need to watch it again because I kind of dozed off. I was really tired when I watched it. And I've only watched it once. But the new one, the preview looks great. But where they show Spider-Gwen coming back through the portal, into Miles's bedroom, and she's like, you want to go out, and he's like, well, I'm kind of grounded, and she just flips out the window, and he like runs over, and she's standing on the side of the building with her mask on now, and she's like, well, is Spider-Man grounded too? But what they've done now is they haven't released a new trailer, but they did come out with a tweet that, which that's another thing we haven't talked about, is the disaster that is Twitter now. But they came out with a tweet of that basically said who the villain's going to be, and it's going to be the Spot.
See, now I find that to be an interesting choice. I mean, Spot is not a very well-known Spider-Man villain. He showed up from time to time and made a nuisance of himself, but he wasn't like this mastermind that was the Green Goblin or the Hobgoblin or Doc Ock or the Lizard or anybody. I mean, anybody that they could have chosen, and they chose the Spot.
And they show, like in the picture, they show Miles Morales kicking Spot, his foot going through and coming out and kicking Gwen in the background. And I guess the Spot will be voiced by Jason Schwartzman.
Okay. All right.
So
I mean, it's gonna be a great movie, I'm sure.
Well, and they've already got the third one ready to go, because we're getting Across the Spider-Verse next year, and then we're getting the third one, which I forget what that one's called. It's in here somewhere. Into the Spider-Verse, that was the first one. Beyond the Spider-Verse. So we get Across the Spider-Verse June 2nd of 2023, and Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse March 29th of 2024. So within a year, we get the next two.
I'm here for it, man. That's fucking great. Let's do it. I mean, more of that Spider-Man, awesome Spider movie stuff. I'm all about it.
And that's the other thing, is one of the things that they show in the trailer is him tussling with Spider-Man 2099. And they don't really show whether that's if they're actually fighting, or if they're going to be allies, or what, or why they're fighting.
Like I said, again, I'm here for it. Whatever they want to do. I mean, it's going to be great no matter what.
Yeah, I agree.
I guarantee it. Those guys killed it.
Yep.
And
then
we got.
Oh, go ahead.
We lost a couple viewers. What was I going to say? Shit.
Oh, no.
I hope that. Well, I do hope they bring back a couple of the characters from the first one. I mean, like Spider-Man Noir was great. That was like Nick Cage voiced him, and that was really cool. Spider-Ham. I mean, if it's a multiverse movie, if I can bring him back, man, that would be really great. Spider-Ham was great. That was John Mulaney. So funny. Like it's and just some of the little in jokes, like Spider-Man Noir trying to figure out the Rubik's Cube because couldn't see color. So I'm taking this with me. He did. So yeah, great stuff, guys. I mean, this is we are in such an amazing mode, man. I mean, there's so many awesome things coming up. What was I gonna we do have I got a couple of things. Let me see if I can find so we are coming we're getting coming up on closing time here. So we do have a new book coming out from D&D really soon called Keys from the Golden Vault. It gets a release date. Got a release date today. Keys from the Golden Vault. It's following its announcement earlier this year. The release date for the new D&D book has been revealed by surprise on Amazon. February 21st is the new book coming out. It tells us this is a heist-focused D&D anthology. So it's going to be a bunch of adventures that you can do that are heist-oriented.
Okay.
And so for those of you guys who want to take your characters in the direction of a heist, which we've seen in things like Critical Role
and Tavern Knights.
And Tavern Knights, yeah, sure. That you might want to check that out. No further information is provided by MSI besides a blurb that reads, "Greetings, adventurer. You've snuck in and found a wondrous treasure. Keys from the Golden Vault is a Dungeons & Dragons adventure anthology with a heist at the center of every tale. Nothing else is yet known about the contents of this tome, but keep an eye on your favorite D&D news sources for your first sneak peek inside." So check out D&D Beyond. I'm sure they'll have a lot of shit about it. And check out your other website, other stuff about it that you check for D&D news. Speaking of that, and speaking of Critical Role, we did have, I believe that both episodes now have been
Nope.
put out. No, the second one hasn't come out yet.
Second one comes out Thursday.
Thursday, okay.
Because they were off for Thanksgiving.
Right. But the first episode of the reunion show,
The Mighty Nein Reunited.
The Mighty Nein, has come out. Now I think I got like 15 minutes left in the episode to watch.
And I got an hour and a half.
Fucking fun. It was a lot of fun seeing all these characters, these players come back to characters that they missed.
Yeah, I enjoy a lot of it. Sam is still so fucking annoying, and you can see Laura just getting pissed at him.
It's got to be hard sometimes to see for some of these guys to game with him, because particularly when he was playing Not the Brave, and Veth later on, because it's almost like he learned how to fuck with them with Scanlan, and he was like, when he made Veth, he's like, and not in Veth, he was like, oh, now I really gonna fuck.
Well, just like in this episode where he puts the fucking popcorn thing on the front of his flask, fills it up with popcorn, and then drinks and just lets popcorn fall all over, and Laura's like, Sam, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, just for those moments. Now, my guess is that they do. I mean, the game is not scripted, but the show is.
Yeah.
My guess is that that periodically they'll be like, all right, Sam, you're gonna want to do some shit here and there to. I think he does stuff when he feels like it's getting boring, or it's getting tedious, or he feels like he needs a little something to spice things up a little bit.
Yeah. Now, one of my favorite parts of the show so far, I mean, there's been a few that I really liked, but one of the things I really liked was when the first time they show Bo, when they reintroduce her, and she comes through the portal, and Matt's like, you come through the portal, and she's like, I'm sick of this shit. I just want to be home. I want to be curled up on the couch, on the comfy couch with my woman.
Work-life separation. We've talked about this.
And drinking wine, and if somebody looks over and goes, "When are you going to start role playing?"
Yeah. I think it was Liam actually. Yeah, said that. But it was funny because I think Matt wanted to get a story point across or something, and she's like, and she just interrupted the guy that wanted to tell her something, and he's like, "I'll deal with it tomorrow. Work-life separation. I'm going home." And he's like, "Oh, I okay, very well." That was one of those things. Like, I mean, I loved the 6 months later kind of thing, man. I thought like, okay, yeah, this is cool, man. What are they doing 6 months later? They've gone their separate ways. They're level 17, so they're fucking stupid powerful, but they're still not the most powerful motherfuckers in the group and around, Well, Caleb is off doing his, like, he's teaching, or he's teaching like private lessons.
He's a visiting teacher.
Is a visiting professor kind of thing, and they keep wanting to bring him on, and Bo is like, "Yeah, take the job. We'll have a man inside." And he's like, "I don't know." Bo is taking more of a kind of a desk job, more of a managerial kind of thing, but she's hurting for for action, and whereas Yasha is reveling in her
domestic life.
I am a domestic goddess. She's cooking. She's got a garden. she's picking
heirloom tomatoes.
Heirloom tomatoes, right? She's got Martha Stewartson living next door.
No, it's Martina. Yeah, like Martina
Stewartson or something. Yeah. I was like, oh, that's fucking funny.
And I love that Matt just made that character up on the spot.
Like that. Well, it's like, because, I mean, he had some prompting, but they were like, oh, yeah, this lady next door is really great, you know, and then she just like.
And then, like, they're outside, and then all of a sudden, she just calls over from the yard.
Yeah,
hi, Martina.
She said, we talked about this, you know. Oh, yeah, well, I'm just. You know. I love that Veth is starting a camp for burgeoning adventurers. I was like, that's funny as hell. I wanted to see some of those characters that they introduced come into play. I hope they do someday. Well, you know. Yes, I went to the camp I went to the Veth.
Yeah, it was Peralta, Camp Nevermore or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, but I also like when Jester starts sending messages.
Oh, man.
And like sends one
Jester
to Veth.
And her fucking messages.
Well, it sends one to Veth, and she's hold on.
Oh my God. Now that's where Sam is fucking hilarious. That was great comedy there. Well,
that was great. But then she sends one to Bo, and Marisha just ran with it and goes,
yeah, she just ran with it.
Hold on, babe. Hold on.
Oh, those dirty fuckers, man. That was awesome. What did it just drop?
I just see Matt losing it too.
Oh man, for real.
And also, it's cool. It was cool because where I just got to, it's cool to see Matt fuck up.
Yeah.
At times. To show that he's still human. And that he is still a regular DM.
He's not just a god among men.
Yes. So, like, one, he messed up on the attack on the ship when Ford was flying, and then he had him all of a sudden fall into the water like everybody else, like he was on the ship. And that's on Travis too for forgetting that. But also, but when he's leading them to where they need to go, and he's like, you know, your vision had the 3 lights and the forest and all this, and he's like, you know, look at the map and all this, and he's like, and they're looking at it, and he's like, no, it's this, and he actually gives it to him because of an investigation role because they weren't figuring it out, and Travis, and they're looking at the map and they're like, I don't see, where is this? And he's like, it's right here. And he's like, yeah, there's nothing labeled there, Matt.
Yeah, it's because I forgot to write it in.
Yeah, he's like, oh, it's in the guide to Wildmount.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that whole conflict was the prequel, or the preamble to it, basically. I was like, holy shit, their ship gets destroyed, the whole thing, and you know, but I also really like the fact.
Well, we might be giving away too many spoilers, but
well, sure, we're not giving away too much. But I really like the fact
that CD does watch it, so
okay. But I like the fact that that Kingsley is a very different character.
Yes.
Kingsley, Talison's new character, which is, you know, it's the body of Lucien and or Mollymauk, but it's a whole different character, and he is very distinctly different from Mollymauk and from Lucien. I thought that was really cool. And I was hoping we'd see him as Caduceus, but I like seeing more.
I like that they talk. Should we call Caduceus? Nah.
So anyway, and I love the fact that, you know, like Marisha was like, or Bo was like, are we getting the band back together? Are we getting? Yeah. I mean, let's do this. You know, she was more excited than anybody to do that shit. But yeah, the interruptus, the coitus interruptus thing was cracked me the hell up. I was actually listening to it at work. It was one of the few times I was like, oh, all right, I'm busy. I'm not busy, but I'm not being bothered by anybody. I can put it on.
You should go back and watch it because Marisha's whole thing is hilarious.
No, it was enough that I picked it. When it happened, I backed it up and I took a minute and I said, watch it. Because I was like, oh, fuck, that's funny. Yeah.
Because the whole wipe the mouth thing was
the wipe the mouth thing. And she's like, and of course, that Ashley jumped right in too.
Oh
She's
yeah.
like, God, every time, you know. It makes me think, and I was talking to because I got a couple of friends at work that watch Critical Role too. Nick, my friend Nick, she's been watching it since the beginning, since the beginning of campaign 2, and I think she's gotten a little bit into campaign 1, but hasn't really gone full bore into it yet. And then Andy, who just started with campaign 3, and he's loving it. He's not even a D&D guy yet. He's just barely gotten started with D&D, and he's just like, I am hooked. I am so hooked on this. And I'm like, yeah, you'll love it. And but so I'm watching it, I'm listening, and I was listening to it, and I'm laughing my ass off at work. And I'm like, and at one point I had to run over to the sculpture department and say, Nick, have you watched the reunion show yet? She goes, no, not yet. I'm like, fuck. And I had to run off because I really wanted to talk to her about it. She's like, I haven't watched it yet. I'm like, fuck.
So,
but I love it. I just loving it.
Yeah, I agree with Bob though. Scripted or not, it'd be annoying as hell to be at the table with Sam.
Probably.
I don't think I could handle it. I don't think I could handle being at the table
just to get the attention, even when it's nice. Like, yeah, he does, but you got to also remember, guys, this is still a show. It's still a show that people watch. So, and these guys are all performers. So my guess is that they throw stuff in that like that just to shake things up, you know.
For me, it's one thing for the way he does his ad reads and stuff like that to be the jokester that he is.
Yeah, but the ad reads are goddamn awesome. I love
sometimes a lot of them fall flat, I think.
Man, all the Nord stuff cracks me the hell up. I love
Okay, I'm done with the Nord shit, the Nord verse. That needs to end.
Did you watch their one shot?
No.
Dude, it's really funny. It's actually pretty cool because it all takes place in the 80s. Sam is the game master, so you don't have as much of the like him breaking in and being, you know, like an annoying, you know, cunt essentially. But you get it just was kind of cool. It was kind of cool.
But
I don't know.
But yeah, so I mean, it's just he takes things a little too far sometimes, and I think
I agree.
And I think there's times where he tries to force it.
At the same time, some of the stuff that happens with him and when he was playing Scanlan specifically, were like amazing examples of role playing.
But the thing is that a lot of the reasons why I never really got into the first season is because of Scanlan. I got so tired of him and his shitting on things and shitting in a jar and putting it up and scrying through this shit. I'm like, that's not funny.
I agree. It was much. It was a lot. But later on, when you get into stuff, how far are you on season 1?
I don't even remember now. I'd have to go back and figure it out.
I can't say too much then. But I mean, there is really some amazing stuff.
They just killed the white dragon, I think it was.
Okay, so yeah, long ways ago. Particularly in the epilogue in
I think I'm about halfway
closet.
through. I think I'm like halfway through season 1.
Okay. Dalen's closet, man, there was a couple of moments you're like, damn, Sam, holy shit. I'd still love to meet him and hang out with him. I think it'd be fun. It'd be fun to fucking hang out with the guy. But gaming with him would definitely be difficult because he's a ball hog.
He's the only one on that show that I don't want to hang out with.
I can handle it. But I think
I would punch him.
It's true. He's a ball hog. He is probably the worst when it comes to a scene stealer or a I wouldn't want to perform with him.
No.
Like as a performer, I would not want to perform with that guy because he would be a scene stealer. So the hard thing is the guy is ridiculously talented. Like everybody says it, everybody knows it. They all talk about it. The guy's just ridiculously talented. And I was like, oh yeah, he is. The guy's he's an Emmy winner for crying out loud. So
yeah, it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, sure it does. I mean, he's recognized by his peers for being like really good at
Actually,
his
the
job.
Emmys aren't your peers. The Emmys are critics.
All right, even so. That being said, as a bridge, guys, don't forget January we have the new season of Critical Role, Vox Machina, and The Legend of Vox Machina. So be sure to check that out. We're going to
The
see
Chroma Conclave.
the continuation into the Chroma Conclave storyline. So awesome stuff.
Yep.
We should probably wrap things up pretty soon here.
We should get going. So also coming next or in January of next year on Netflix is going to be That 90s Show.
Yes.
Which is an official spinoff of That 70s Show. It's going to be the grandkids coming to stay with Grandma and Grandpa Red and Grandma Kitty. And it looks like it could be really funny. I mean, it shows them. Kitty takes them downstairs and says, "The basement's yours," and they all start hanging out in the basement. And next thing you know, there's smoke everywhere in the basement, like in the early days of
That 70s
show, which they had to stop
be interesting.
Doing. They actually stopped doing that on That 70s Show because of the whole drug use thing.
Yeah, I mean, it was still evident they were going down there getting high.
What I loved was when shit, what the hell was his name? Topher Grace's character. When he'd come upstairs and talk with his parents, and he'd be sitting there talking with them, and you'd see the wallpaper moving in different directions behind him.
That was some funny stuff. I was not a regular viewer of That 70s Show, but it's one of those things I've always wanted to get around to binging because I really did enjoy it a lot.
And actually, CD, I disagree. That 80s show was not bad. I loved that 80s show. I thought it was hilarious.
I thought it was okay. I think that show needed another season to kind of get its legs underneath it. It's another one of those shows that didn't fire on all cylinders at first. It needed more.
The parachute pants episode, though, was just hilarious, where dude puts on parachute pants for the first time. Got these new pants! And he sits down on a couch and just slides right off and falls on the floor. And every time he sits down, he just slid off and onto the floor. You're right, Bob. We lived that 80s show.
We did. So real quick, now James Gunn has taken over as pretty much the Kevin Feige of really more like the Zack Snyder of the DC cinematic universe.
I'm okay with this.
Yeah, I'm totally fine with this. I mean, I think this could be really good. James Gunn has proven that he is a comic fan and knows what the hell he's talking about when it comes to comic book stuff. Now, the thing is he also does have a very comedic kind of take on a lot of stuff, but he has a lot of heart too. I mean, he was also the mind behind Peacemaker, which was absolutely fantastic.
That's another one I got to get back and finish.
He was the guy behind the second Suicide Squad, and it was quite superior to the second one.
Oh yeah.
He is, and of course, he was the guy that created the Guardians of the Galaxy and made them a phenomenon. Now he's not doing Marvel stuff anymore now because of the DC, because his contract.
Well, not after Guardians 3 anyway.
Right, Guardians 3 is his last thing, and he had said that as of Guardians 3, that will be the end of his Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
If they continue on with these actors in these roles or whatever, who knows? But my guess is that they will probably close the door on the Guardians of the Galaxy and they'll figure out something else when it comes to the cosmic stuff. My guess is they'll go. Hopefully they'll lean into Nova and do some other stuff with that. Maybe occasionally you'll see like Rocket or Groot or even Star-Lord show up as a cameo. Now, James Gunn is also, because he is the DC guy, him and one other guy, this other guy that's kind of either working together. The tendrils of the DC cinematic universe are spreading out into other parts of DC merchandising. He did say that future DC video games will be part of the cinematic universe. Now, Gotham Knights has been out for a few weeks now. I haven't played it yet. Might be even as much as a month.
I heard bad things about it. I heard it was very repetitive, and that
I heard it's more of the same.
I heard that it doesn't compare to the Arkham games, in that you don't have the options that you have in there. Like you don't have the the reaction or the counter moves and things like that.
Okay.
It's just button mashing. You just beat the crap out of things over and over and over and over again.
Okay. See, now I was just playing Shadow of War, and I'm feeling like a little bit of that. Like I'm kind of like I'm 2/3 through the game, and I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna take a little break from this game and play something else because I'm getting a little dry. I'm getting a little boring or a little bored. I'm still enjoying it, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, I think I'm a little stuck. So I gotta take a break from this game for a little while. Now I am gonna eventually get Gotham Knights. I am gonna get it, and I'm sure play
I
the
will
hell
probably
out of it
get it eventually
but I have not gotten it yet. And a lot of it comes down to the fact that that some of the reviews have been a little lackluster. I have seen a few that have said, "Hey, it's still a fun game. It's still cool. It's still, Robin and Nightwing and Batgirl in the Red Hood kicking the shit out of bad guys." All right. I enjoyed Arkham Knight or the Arkham games.
Well, that's the thing. This is not a continuation of the Arkham story.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not. They have said this is not part of the Arkham series.
I think you might be mistaken, man. I mean, it's a direct sequel to how Bruce is dead and gone.
I know, that's what I thought, and that's what they were originally saying, but they came out and said, no, it is not.
Okay, that's weird because, I mean, everything that I've seen, it's...
I just put in, is Gotham Knights a continuation of Arkham Knight? The answer is simple. No, it isn't. Gotham Knights takes place in its own continuity that is completely separate from the Arkham games.
But Bruce is still dead.
Yep.
All right. Okay, fine. So the article that I've got here, it says Warner Brothers' James Gunn has said the future DC games will likely be based around the DC cinematic universe. The director and new co-head of DC Studios was not coy about the development either. In a tweet responding to a fan asking if future games will take place in the cinematic universe, Gunn answered firmly, "Are there any plans for games to be connected to the DCU as well, Mr. Gunn?" Yes. That's all I said. It was announced in October that James Gunn, alongside the Suicide Squad producer Peter Safran, would be taking over the DCEU at Warner Brothers to steer the ongoing project. While it's not clear if he has any direct influence on Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment, Gunn potentially has a huge gaming division within reach. Recently, WB Games Montreal put out Gotham Knights, and Rocksteady's Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is set for next year, which also looks pretty badass. On top of that, there's NetherRealm Studios, which has the Injustice franchise, and there are other developers under the umbrella too. If corralled and planned properly, games based in the DCEU could help expand the scope of the world. So cool. That'd be great. I'm looking forward to it. Also coming up, and I think next week we have the Midnight Suns new Marvel's game, which does look pretty badass as well. So
I'm kind of fallen out of what's coming out in video games because I've really gotten back into playing Cyberpunk.
How are you liking that?
I'm actually loving it. I was playing it a bit tonight, and I finally got past the guy that I couldn't get past before. Although I accidentally saved over my corpo that I made.
Oh, whoops.
Yeah, with my Street Punk. So I guess I'm just going back to my Street Kid. And I'm just going to play that through, which I'm really enjoying that character. I'm having a blast. I really am having a good time, and I'm learning how I'm expanding out of. I've already got my reflexes to 20, and I've got my cool up to 14, and now I'm working on my tech ability so I can start using the tech rifles better.
See, with me, I'm one of those guys. Like, I guess I'm too used to Skyrim, where I'm just trying to level everything. You gotta, when it comes to
Cyberpunk, you can't in this. That's the thing.
Not in this. You have to make choices.
Yeah.
You have to go, am I gonna be a handgun guy? Am I gonna be a rifle guy? Am I gonna be a shotgun guy? Yes, you can choose to level a couple of those.
Yep.
But you can't level all of them. You just don't, there just isn't enough. You could also it's a good idea to put some points into hand-to-hand or into some sort of melee weapon, but you really got to choose when it comes down to what kind of gun are you going to specialize in.
I don't know if you can redo the skill tree, CD.
Oh yeah, I think you can.
I think there is a way to do it, but I don't know how.
Can, yeah.
Yeah, so that's one of the reasons why I went reflexes, because I wanted to do handguns and blades.
Yeah.
Because they're both reflexes. And I'll tell you what, dude, I did over 2,600 with my handgun today with a headshot. Boom.
Nice. I did like the handguns. The handguns are really, and the handguns have a lot of fucking style too.
Yes,
there's some really cool fucking handguns. I think I stayed away from snipers. I didn't really use the sniper weapons.
I want to be a sniper. I love sniping. That's my style of play in most of the games, like Far Cry and Ghost Recon, things like that. I play snipers. In this game, the sniper rifles just don't do enough damage. Even with a headshot, half the time you're not killing somebody.
Yeah.
And the problem that was the problem I had, and I started talking with my buddy Rob, who has played through this game multiple times, and was telling me, he says, what you need to do is you need to get your tech ability up, because then you can use the tech rifles. He said he has a friend who will sit outside of a building. He will ping everyone inside the building, see where they are, and just boom, 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 and shoot them from outside the building. And then go in and clean everything up.
Your tech ability allows you to fire tracer bullets that just...
Well, yeah, tech rifles can shoot through walls.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right.
And he said, yeah, he said he's got one gun and his abilities are so high, and he's got all the perks where he can sit outside, tag everybody inside the building, and go boom, and with one shot kill everyone inside of a building.
Jesus. That's called overkill and probably nerfing the system. Yeah, they're gonna nerf that because yeah, it's a really cool game, guys. Now, and I tell everybody, since they fixed Cyberpunk, much better.
Yeah.
Much better. They have fixed. I haven't played it since, God, like 2 or 3 updates, but at least 3 updates since some major updates since I played it, and it is awesome. It was awesome back then. It is even better now.
What's funny is, so I just got another call from Judy, and it's been a while since I've talked to her, and I'm playing a male character. Judy is romanceable by females,
right?
And what's funny is, because you can still flirt with Judy.
Yeah,
as a male
you ain't
character.
gonna get you anywhere.
Right, and it's funny because she invites me to go do this thing, and I'm like, all right, is this a date? And she's like, you're not my type, Holmes.
Yeah. There's a couple.
But she laughs about it.
I do like the romance options too. Yeah. There's a couple. There's depending. You can play it so many different ways. You can play straight. You can play gay. I think you can play bi, but I think you have to be a female to play bi.
No, you can do it with a guy too.
Can you?
Yeah.
But it depends. It just depends on. No, you can. You're right. It just depends on who you want to try and romance.
Right.
You'll never get anywhere with Judy unless you're a girl.
Right. But a female with a female voice.
Yeah.
Because that's the other thing, is that you have to have. It's a body voice combo.
Yeah, because you can play trans characters too. Yeah, absolutely. You can set yourself up as a trans.
And Pan Am is male.
Right.
River, I think, is bi.
Yes, I think you're correct.
I think he's bi.
I think you're correct. So it's just really, really cool. It's really refreshing that they went that direction with this game. I was thinking that I was going to wait until the update comes out next year before I play it, but I think I'm going to get into that game again soon. I think I'm. I need
to play all the way through it. Now that I've gotten past this point that frustrated me so much that made me stop playing. And part of it is I just realized what I needed to do, and I needed to stop using guns and use my legendary mantis blades that aren't in the game anymore, that you can't get.
Nice.
Well, you can still get them, but you can't get them at like early level like I did.
I used gorilla arms, man. I did have swords and stuff from time to time, but for the most part, the big fucking metal arms.
Dude, I've got mantis
allowed you to
blades.
pry things open.
Yeah,
and stuff.
I got mantis blades that allow me to do like 800 damage.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some cool things about shish kebabbing and Cuisinarting people. So
Oh yeah, if I do my leap in, half the time I just kill people with one shot. It's I leap in, spear them, hold them up, and then throw them off my blades, and they're dead.
fucking nuts, man. Yeah, you can jib people pretty easily in this game too, man. Like body parts flying everywhere. It's
Oh
not
yeah,
really my jam as much, but it's impressive. You
you
know?
go in, you shoot, 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 and all of a sudden the head goes flying off.
Yeah, just gone. That city has got to be immense. The fact that there's so much murder that happens.
It's got a stake too.
Got to be smell bad, really. Guys,
Um,
we got Chris. We got to wrap things up, man. We've been at it for a while, and I am starving.
an
So
hour and 51. We're short, man. We're still low on time compared to what we were doing before you took your vacation.
my vacation, my vacation.
Yeah, you took a vacation from this. I can't hear that. Turn it up.
My vacation.
Old man Russ needs his snackums.
I do. I am hungry, and I've been drinking. Hey.
All right. Yeah, we should wrap things up though.
Guys, thanks for joining us tonight. It's been great being back.
Our 300th episode.
300 episode. Guys, stay tuned. I know I say this a lot, but stay tuned. We're gonna get more into bringing on some more guests. We got a guest. We got some guests coming up. We do have some guests coming up in a couple weeks.
2 weeks.
Big guests in 2 weeks. Some really fun stuff. I'm gonna get off my ass and make some phone calls and get some more people on the show to entertain you and our listening audience.
Don't wave your clown at me.
This is a clowny. Thank you very much.
Okay, clowny. Okay, yeah. Don't wave your clowny at me.
From Theater Bizarre. We're gonna get some more people on, some fun stuff, and it's not just staring at two elder millennials, or excuse me, two elder Gen Xers. Actually, we're younger Gen Xers. And
I'm like right in the middle.
Griping.
We're like right in the middle.
You're kind of in the middle, I guess. We're kind of in the middle. So, but guys, thanks again for joining us. Thanks to everybody that chimed in tonight. Of course, Bob, also known as Stinkerface CD, who's always a pleasure having you on. Auntie Dawn, thank you again for joining us and listening and helping out. Wings Coot for moderating our chat to whatever extent it can be moderated. Dutchy, thanks. I appreciate it. We gotta get the dogs together again soon. That was a lot of fun. And guys, be sure to check us out on all the places you can find quality podcasting. We are everywhere you can find podcasts. I'm not going to go through the list.
Yeah, we don't need to go through the list anymore. It's been 300 episodes.
It's been 300 episodes. I'm not going to do it anymore.
And you can follow us on most of the social medias. We're on Facebook, Nerds with Alcohol Show. Drinking Twitter for as long as it's still around.
Oh man,
at Drinking Nerds. Instagram Drinking Nerds. We're on YouTube Drinking Nerds. I do try and get these episodes up. I am way behind on that. I've been trying to keep up on at least Tavern Nights, especially since we had some technical difficulties a couple weeks ago when we did it. And actually we had some.
You and your internet, man, I tell you.
Dude, you know, I can't afford business internet, or otherwise I would have it. So, but yeah, so. Russ and I will be back next week. Actually, we'll be back next Monday for Tavern Talk. I don't know if Russ will be joining us for that one.
I should be able to be there. Yeah.
And then we'll be back on Tuesday for Tavern Nights, for Nerds with Alcohol, and then next Friday for Tavern Nights, and then the following week, which will be the second week of November, or December, I mean. We will not be on Tuesday night. We will not be on Tuesday the 13th. We will be on Monday the 12th. Because we will have a special guest from Elderwood Academy.
That's right.
On that week. And he has scheduling conflicts, so we're going to move our show to accommodate having him on the show, because I think it'd be really cool. Their latest Kickstarter just ended yesterday. I did support it. I did back it. I got my confirmation today. They out of $10,000, they raised $181,000. So
that's pretty great.
Yeah, that's cool. They're
181,000.
Yes.
Out of 10,
they were looking for 10. They were looking for 10. They got 181,000.
Jesus Christ.
They are a local company here in Michigan, close here to Russ and I, over in Ypsi. So it'll be cool to talk to another local nerd and get their idea. They've also sponsored Critical Role. Been a sponsor.
Oh, have they?
Yes, back in season 2. It was
cool.
Season 2, episode 20 or something. I actually looked it up. So it'd be interesting to talk to them about to see if that actually helped them. That's one of the things I want to know is how much that actually helped their business.
So also a couple of things, a couple of quick things. For those of you guys who haven't noticed, I am rather fuzzy right now. I'm going to be growing the beard out again for a little while just to see where the gray is, because I'm getting old and you can see it in the sideburns, and I haven't been able to during the active season at production the production at Parade Company. I can't have it because I got to wear a respirator or mask sometimes. So, but hey, now I'm kind of curious. So you guys will get to enjoy this journey from me here. Also, for those of you guys who have seen my Facebook page and whatnot, I am in a new show. I'm doing another dinner theater murder mystery play. It's going to be at the end of March. I'm in March 26th, I think. I'd have to double check on the date. But if any of you guys are interested, we are performing at the English Inn in Eaton Rapids, Michigan. We are also coming up on a couple other shows we're going to be doing locally, a little more locally. So I will be sending that information out as soon as it is available. It is not a cheap show, particularly at Eaton Rapids. The tickets are about $100 a piece. But it is a lot of fun, and you get a 4-course meal, really gourmet 4-course meal. It's amazing and really great entertainment. And I am a very, very important character in this new one. I'm actually one of the leads. So, I mean, it's kind of hard because we're all kind of. I'm a primary, which is there's primaries and secondaries, and I just read the script. I'm very important. So
I'm kind of a big deal.
I'm very important. I'm a big deal. I've got huge hands, and it's huge. I'm going to be running for president again, even though I just had lunch with a racist. So yeah. Anyway, guys, if you're interested, it's going to be really cool. The last couple ones have been a lot of fun and a big blast, and I'm really enjoying myself. So if you guys are interested, check out my Facebook page and check out the link to tickets. It's pretty cool. Live Action Fun Factory. I'm gonna just shameless plug. So I'm done now, Chris.
You sure?
I'm done.
Welcome back, Russ. Thank you
back.
all for all of your support over the last 6 years. It really means a lot to us. And honestly, being able to be on Twitch and interact with all of you has been an amazing thing for me over the last few years. I've really enjoyed it. It's been great. It's so much more fun to be able to interact with you while the show's going on, rather than just Russ and I sitting and talking back and forth.
Just yelling into the interwebs.
Yes. Yelling into the void that is the interwebs. But yes, thank you again. And thank you again, CD, for the bits earlier and all the subscriptions. So thank you, all of our subscribers. CD, Rich, Renee. No, Renee doesn't subscribe.
Why should she?
But all of our subscribers, I'm sorry, I don't have everyone listed here. I should. But definitely appreciate all of you very much. You really do help us keep this show going. So I think that's going to about do it.
That should do it.
So on that note. Until next time. Slancha. Okay, that was all right. Have a good week, everybody.
Good night.